As you hit your 40s, time just seems to go by so quickly. And if you think time isn't going by quickly, take a look at the last 40 years that you have spent, and I'm sure you're asking yourself, my goodness, where did the time go? However, now is the time in your 40s that you have to start bottling down and really put those financial plans in place so that in your 50s and your 60s, you will have a more comfortable financial development and financial future. So therefore, we are going to be going over 5 things that you have to stop doing right now if it is that you want to live more comfortably, financially that is, in your 50s, 60s and beyond. Now, my real OG hackers, you know what it means when this top hat is on. Put it in the comment section below if you know what it means, and I will definitely know if you are an OG subscriber. So stay tuned for this important information that we're going to be going over, that if you're in your 40s, you have to stop doing right now. See you soon. Now, if you're in your 40s, this is the decade that important decisions have to be made. You have passed middle age, because remember, if you are an OG as well, you will remember my calculations of what middle age is. And I'm taking it directly from the Bible. If it says 70 is the expected lifespan, then I'm calculating it at 35 is your middle age. Therefore, you have passed 35 successfully. You are now in your 40s. It is now time that you are on the last stretch of your life. Yes, it might sound serious, but you are on the final stretch of your life. And this is where you have to make serious decisions now so that you are not impacted in a negative way in your 50s, 60s and beyond. So now is a decade of changes, of strategizing, financially that is, so that you can live more comfortably in the future. Your 40s as well is when you should be building your wealth. And yes, you might have made some mistakes in the first 40 years. However, don't cry over spilt milk. It is now time that you make corrections or adjustments to certain things that you have done, maybe not optimally in the past, so that you can now live more comfortably. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. And if anyone else in your life is trying to tell you that it is too late or you made too many mistakes, it's time to limit your interaction with those persons, because they are of a negative influence and they are speaking negativity over your life. There is life and death in the tongue. The Bible says that. Therefore, do not entertain or allow anyone to speak negatively about you, especially in your presence. Sometimes as well, the main offender are ourselves. Is it are or is ourselves? Whatever the grammatical correction is for that. But sometimes the main enemy is ourselves. Have you ever stopped and realized the things that you say to yourself? Do you actually know that you would not allow anyone else to speak to you as how you allow yourself to speak to you? Therefore, cut it out. You are instilling negativity in your mind, and mindset is very critical for success. First of the 5 things that you are going to stop right now in your 40s is that you are going to stop overlooking your high interest debts. These are things like your credit card. That's the first thing that you're going to be eliminating. And this is a journey that I embarked upon because I've told you before, I am now 49 and I have made certain decisions in the last 9 to 10 years that is going to set me up for financial success in my 50s, 60s and beyond. Now, I followed Dave Ramsey's baby steps towards financial success, and the one that I am currently doing is to be eliminating all my debts. And I started first with the highest interest debts that I have, and those are typically the credit cards. Do you know that a credit card can be running up to 30% in terms of interest? That is killing you instantly, and that is wiping you out in terms of your disposable income and money that you could be using for other more profitable things. Now, there are different methods that you can use. One is the snowball effect and one is the avalanche effect. The snowball is where you start with the lowest debt, and once you have eliminated your smallest debt, you take the monthly payment that you will be making on that debt and you start increasing the payment to your next highest debt. Now, you eliminating that smaller debt is going to do something for you psychologically as well, because it is showing you that, hey, this can be done and it must be done. So therefore, as a snowball develops, and that is why it is comparatively termed a snowball, once it starts to accumulate momentum and accumulate in size, you would be surprised how soon and how quickly you are able to complete paying off all your debts from the smallest to the largest. Now let's look at the avalanche. The avalanche is the opposite because, as you know, an avalanche, it is a mighty rush at the top, and then towards the end of it, it is smaller. Likewise, you're going to be starting with those debts that have the highest interest rates, because those high interest rates are what you are spending the most on dollar for dollar if you do the comparison. So therefore, you start with the highest interest, maybe the credit card, and then you move to the smallest interest rate because those are what you're paying the lower amounts on in terms of interest. Another bonus point here, because I'm going to be giving you bonus tips for each one of these 5, is that you can also do a consolidated debt loan. Now, there are many financial institutions that will allow you to take out one loan that will automatically cover the other loans that you have. The other good thing about a consolidated loan is that usually the interest rate is much lower than the other interest rates that you are carrying and that you want to eliminate. And then at the end of the day, instead of those 4, 5, 6 debts that you have outstanding, with those higher interest rates, you could get one payment that you can more easily manage. Another bonus tip here is that for these amounts, you need to prioritize your debt payments. You see, a lot of persons, they will treat debt payments as the afterthought, when really it should be the priority. Therefore, my strongest recommendation is, just as though you do a budget, and don't start looking away from me now because you know you have not done a budget. How can you be financially responsible if you do not have a budget and know where your money is going? But that's a separate point for another video, and I've touched on it in previous videos, so you can go back and look at those. Now, back to the point, you should be budgeting the payments towards these debts as a first priority so that you can eliminate them. You would never imagine the freedom and peace of mind that you will have once you have eliminated your debts. Then you have all of this cash that you would normally be putting towards your debt to now invest in other things in your 40s to make preparation for your 50s and 60s. So the second thing that you're going to stop right now is that you're going to stop contributing the minimum to your 401k. Now, sometimes I will forget that I am not speaking only to persons in the United States. Yes, the majority of my audience is in the US, but wherever you are, in whatever economy or jurisdiction, whatever pension plan that exists under your employment program, then you need to be maximizing this opportunity. In the United States, it is known as a 401k. And normally how this works, and with any pension plan, wherever you might be located, you do have a range that you are allowed to contribute, from a minimum to a maximum. Many persons, they skimp on funds in the beginning by contributing the lowest possible amount because, hey, you don't want your net pay to be too low because you think you cannot survive on it, or you tell yourself that you want money to enjoy and spend at the end of each month. That is short-sighted of you. That is feasting now and famine later. A wrong way to approach it. You should be front-loading your benefits, and I'm hoping I'm using that term correctly, but it just sounds good to use. So you should be front-loading your saving in terms of maximizing. So say, for example, they allow you 2 to 6% to be contributed to your 401k or whatever pension plan. Go for the maximum. Go for the 6%, because at the end of the day, in retirement or when you leave that job, then you would have had more money invested, yielding more, so you have a more comfortable life, 50s, 60s and beyond. Also, the more that you contribute into the program, especially if you're a boss, and they usually do, they have a matching amount from the employer. By you investing less in the pension program, you are actually leaving money on the table because you're allowing your employer to match less than they would have normally done. Don't you give all when you go to work? At least you should, ethically. So if it is that you're getting up, going every day, and you are putting out your all on this job, why are you not getting back as much as you can get from this employer? They are fattening their pockets. So any opportunity you get, legally and ethically, for them to fatten your pocket, why are you not taking advantage of it? Wake up, my 40-year-olds. Take advantage of that opportunity and maximize what is available to you under your employer's pension program. Now let's look at a simple calculation. Did you know that by increasing your investment in your pension plan, simply from say 3% to 10%, and we're going to be using an average say $60,000 salary. Now you would have increased your savings from $1,800 to $6,000 per year. And if we use say a conservative 6% growth rate, do you know that that is a difference between actually accumulating $70,000 versus $240,000? That's 3 times the amount. Now, I'm not sure, but for me, a $170,000 US difference in terms of outcome or output is significant, and therefore that's not something that you should leave behind on the table. The next thing that you're going to stop doing is stop taking your health for granted. Now, especially in your 40s, this is the time for you to be more serious about your health. It absolutely makes no sense for you to accumulate wealth without having health. When you reach to your 60s and beyond, and your health is rapidly declining based on poor decisions you made in your 40s, you could have as much money as you dream or desire, but you will not have the health to enjoy it. The only thing your wealth will be going into is to trying to recover your health. It is often said that many persons spend their health trying to develop their wealth in their earlier days, and then in their latter days, they are left having to spend their wealth in trying to regain their health. That's a poor approach. My advice to you: stop eating just for the flavor or the taste alone. You're at that age now that you need to realize that if you do not make food your medicine, then in the future, medicine is going to become your food. So start right now. Also, stop skimping on health plans. You need a health plan. If you are in a 9-to-5, then you need to be enrolled in your company's health plan. And just a little point here as well, you have 2 options really. You can go with a low deductible, low copay plan, which typically carries a higher monthly premium. But hey, sometimes it is better to just pay the higher monthly premium and then you save on the copay and you save on the deductible. I hope I said it right in the beginning, but I meant low deductible, low copay. Or you have another option that you can have a high deductible, high copay plan with a lower monthly premium, but guess what? You back that up with a HSA, which is a health savings account. But once you invest in that health savings account, which usually comes with some tax benefits, then when you need to spend down on the deductible or the higher co-payments, then you have that amount to put forward to it. But whatever you choose, you cannot continue without having some amount of health insurance or to start making decisions that will yield you to have better health later on in life. I've said it in many of my videos before, it only takes one health emergency to completely wipe you out financially. In one of my videos upcoming, I'm going to be sharing with you a major health condition that I had maybe say 5, 6, 7 years ago, that if I did not have good health insurance would have wiped me out financially. But we're going to share that some more. You at least need to buy me dinner first before me to speak about those personal things, right? All right, now the 4th point is going to be you stop ignoring the magnificent and awesome power of compound interest. Did I say that emphatically enough? Compound interest is said to be the 8th wonder of the world. Stop keeping your funds in regular savings account, even high interest yielding accounts, because there is so much more power in compound interest. Now, say for example, you take $200 and $200 is reasonable. If you are in your 40s and you cannot find $200 per month to invest, something is wrong. You need to either change your job or you need to start a side hustle. But that again is a different point. So I'm conservatively saying $200 per month over 15 years, and we're going to be making the comparison between you investing in a compound interest yielding product or just a regular savings account that you think that, hey, you're putting aside your money safely. Now, of course, my trusted compound interest bearing product is going to be what? You know what I mean. Here's a microphone. Tell me, you know what I choose all the time in every video. It is S&P 500. And it has been averaging approximately 10% over the last 10 to 15 years. Now, I said average, so some years it's lower, some years it is higher, but let's just look at the average. Now, let's take this $200 at this 10% interest rate compounded over 15 years, because if you're in your 40s, whether you're 40, you'll be 55 when this is done. If you're 45, you will be 60 when this is done. So I think 15 years is a good point for me to use for the calculation. Now, after 15 years, the amount that you put, $200 per month, in the compound interest is going to yield $84,000 approximately. Bear in mind that you will be investing $36,000 in total. While, look at it comparatively now, if you were just to put it in a regular savings account, even if you got a high interest rate of 1%, you know, when most bank accounts are giving you like 0.01%, I am putting it very optimistic at 1%. Do you know how much you would have accumulated over the 15 years? Crickets? Approximately $40,000. I had to look again to make sure the calculation is correct, because that just sounds really low. Yes, it's correct. $40,000 compared to $84,000. After 15 years, you would have only accumulated $4,000 on top of your $36,000, while at a compound interest, you would have gotten $84,000. I'm not going to say anything. You can figure out what my point is. The fifth and final point is, and this video has gone on way too long, is stop focusing on other people's success. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. You are now in your 40s. You're no longer in your 20s where you care what other persons think about you. You are now in your 40s where you are developing your self-identity, a certain level of self-awareness. You are no longer trying to identify yourself through or in others. You know who you are, and therefore you know what your goal is. So it is now time to run your own race. Stay in your lane. Let others stay in their lane and run their race, but stay in your lane and run your race, because you know where your finish line is and you know what you're working towards. You also know what you're working with. Do not watch those other persons, and do not compare your private life to other person's public life. Yo, that's a word right there. Do not compare your private life to other person's public life, because you have no idea what's happening in their private life. You also have no idea the sacrifices that they are doing, and you do not know what they are doing to be able to be affording whatever they are having in their life. So follow all the advice that I've given in all my content and videos. Go back and watch them. Yes, it's a shameless plug, but go back and watch all my other videos that I speak about early retirements, developing a budget, and saving plans, and run your race, because your finish line is guaranteed. Your success is guaranteed if you just put your plans in place. Do not compare your life to others. Just run your own race, man, and you'll be surprised how successful you'll be. Alright? Remember, the only person that can help the future you is the current you. Man, I'm throwing down the words today, you know, man. The only person that can help your future you is your current you. So therefore, follow these 5 steps. Stop doing the things you are doing right now. Go back and listen to everything. Rewind this video. Stop doing all the things I mentioned, and you would be how surprised you have set yourself up successfully for your financial future. Now, what can you do for me in return? Just watch the upcoming videos that are going to be on the end screen, where I delve into other points that you might have missed, or videos that you might have missed. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I totally enjoyed talking to you. I appreciate you clicking on this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you soon.